So hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Shaurya and today I am going to suggest you 10 books that are going to make you mentally, physically and emotionally much stronger. So the first book that I have on the list is a book by the name of The Courage to be Disliked. This book was originally published in Japanese and is based on the theories of Alfred Adler and are referred to as Adlerian psychologies in this book. The only reason I read this book was because Ankur Warikoo recommended it and I never got to thank him properly. To be honest, after reading Ikigai, I was a little skeptical about reading Japanese books, but this one was definitely worth a one-time read. This book talks about the courage that it takes to be disliked, and it says that all of us are too busy impressing people and do not want to be hated and want to be liked by everybody else. The author also says that there is no such thing as past trauma and we cannot blame anything that happens in our lives on any past experiences or bad experiences. I would definitely recommend this book as it gives your ego a pump a little. The author says that there is nothing such as past trauma and we cannot blame the consequences of our actions on any past experience. This book pumps up your self-respect a little and I would definitely recommend it to you to read it once. Next up we have Dear Stranger, I Know How You Feel by Ashish Bagrecha. The only reason I bought this book was basically because Instagram kept showing me its advertisement and I kind of like the title as well. This book contains 30 different chapters about pain, love, family and self-harm, and each different chapter has a completely different effect and meaning towards the reader. Each chapter starts with a beautiful poem verse, and if you're somebody like me who is fond of poems and of quotes, I would definitely recommend this book to you. It's a very short read, it's merely 170 pages and can be easily finished in a single sitting. At number 3 we have 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is a little heavy book and it has a very tiny font, so I would not recommend this book to everybody. I'm sure all of you must have already heard of this book. The author says that people mostly want shortcuts to achieve great successes and ask people, how did you do it? And he says that this will yield only short-term results for every individual. The blurb says it has transformed the lives of presidents and CEOs, educators and parents. In short, millions of people of all ages and occupations have used its step-by-step pathway to adapt, to change and to take advantage of the opportunities that change creates. Well, I think you should only pick this book up if you have the right seating capacity and you want to aim really high in life. Then we have The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. This isn't the conventional work smarter not harder kind of book. It gives you great insights on time management. I personally really like to manage my own time. I plan my entire day a night before I go to sleep. The author says that time is your biggest asset. He gives you tips on how you can manage your time and get the most out of the 24 hours that each and every one of us gets. Rereading this book will give you great insights on how you can control your time, not the other way around. He says check your inbox only 3 times a day, which for the life of me I cannot do. He also says that outsource whatever you can to people who will do the same kind of work for a lesser amount of pay. Tim Ferriss is one of my favorite non-fiction authors, which brings us to his next book, The 4-Hour Body. This is one big fat book. This book is focused on your health and will help you get into better shape than you already are. It includes on topics like weight loss, on muscle gain, on building better abs. This book is over 550 pages long and it has so many fantastic ideas that even if you end up implementing a single one in your life, this book will definitely be worth that read. Most of you will find this book intriguing and will end up taking up some of his concepts and modifying them and implementing them in your own life. Parts of this book are really gross as the author ended up weighing his own poop, and some chapters are really unnecessarily graphic, so I would not recommend this book to children. Now that brings us to one of my favorite non-fiction books of all times, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This was the first book that I ever read. A friend recommended to me when I was in my first year of college and I loved this book. The first half of this book is really fantastic. It is such a self-confidence booster that you would feel so much better about yourself instantly. A quote that I really liked from this book was, "The desire for a positive experience is a negative experience." And paradoxically, the acceptance of a negative experience is itself a positive experience. The second half of this book could have been a little better, but overall, I rush to this book whenever I need a little boost of self-confidence in my life. At number 7, we have 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. This is a really powerful book, and it tells us about the 12 rules for life, preparing the readers for the inevitable challenges that they are going to face throughout the courses of their life. For example, one of his rules says, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. And I believe all of us need to hear that at one point in our lives. Although this can be a very articulated book, but a few of its sentences are almost half a page long, and this can be a little tiresome book to read. Another thing that I noticed about this book was it was circled around religion. It had Christianic antidotes and went back to religion on several points of time. So if someone who does not like reading about religion or does not like reading about it, you might start losing interest really soon while reading this book. All said and done, Jordan B. Peterson has a fantastic mind, and I relate to all of his theories to a great extent. At number 8, we have Thinking, Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. I believe the main purpose of this book was to understand how our own brain functions and to understand why we think or feel the way we do, and I believe that's where this book shines. The main idea behind this book was that the author says that we have two different thinking systems. The first one is fast and automatic, while the second one is slow and logical. I get why some people would say that this book is a little slow and boring, but trust me, overall it was a great read and I would recommend it to you if you're feeling a little low in life. At number 9, we have Emotional Intelligence. I believe the area where all of us need to work the most is our emotional maturity. At least I know I do. Warren Buffett famously said that the person who cannot control his emotions cannot control his money. This book gets a little technical in the middle when the author talks about brain evolution, but I loved the part about emotional hijacking, which the author defines as when we act without thinking, without the brain having a chance to access the situation and choose a particular response, and when we act on impulse. You should definitely read this book if you are having issues managing your relationships or you feel that you have the lack of motivation. And finally, we have Do Epic Shit by Ankur Warikoo. This is my favorite non-fiction book of all times, for the very simple reason that Ankur Warikoo says in the beginning of the book that I am not going to tell you something new. I am going to tell you something which you already know. And that fact really hit me hard throughout this book. This also happens to be the book that I am currently rereading. I love how he talks about money, about relationships, about successes and failures through his own experiences in life. I've uploaded a detailed video about this book. You can check it out on my channel or on the I button. Somewhere I'll leave the link to where you can find that video. If you haven't read this book, you are missing out on the essence of life. It is a very short book, as you can see by its size and its font. It's very short and can be finished within 2 to 3 hours. I love rereading this book whenever I fall into self-contemplation, and this really cheers me up. Ankur Warikoo is about to launch his second book, Get Epic Shit Done, in December, and I'm really excited to read it. That brings us towards the end of this video. I would like to wish you all a very